Now, hopefully this video will help out a lot of the beginners out there, how you actually position your tool around your body, all the different angles of approach with the whole tool, with the camera slightly further out so you can actually see all of the picture, and also body movement, how we transfer the weight and everything. So stay tuned. Now, I just want to tell you a little disclaimer before I continue on. So this is the way I turn. And by any means, it's not the only way, and I'm not saying that it's the best way. You'll see I hold the tool slightly different than maybe probably most of the other turners, but I feel comfortable doing that. And also you have to find what works for you the best. And you'll see, although sometimes maybe small body movement, but it can work out really a lot when you consider that the tools are extension over our body. So any little movement with the body, the tip will exaggerate that movement. So all is nicely connected, and hopefully this video will sort of clarify the tool position, all the different angles and everything. So let's go to the turning. If you went in a woodworking trade school, then you know one of the first lessons around the machines is how you stand, and you need to stand comfortably. Now, two things to point out here. One, I need to get myself a floor mat here, rubber mat that helps out really a bit long standing, but I haven't managed to find locally here anything good. And the second thing is, don't look at the state of my shoes, because these are shop shoes and I will wear these out completely before I throw them out. Anyhow, so what I never do is stand narrow like so. So you cannot transfer your weight, you cannot be stable. You most likely trip over. If you try to do any weight transferring, you'll probably trip over, and that's a big hazard. So what I like to do, and we were always taught like that, to stand roughly shoulder width apart, let's say, even more, doesn't really matter, but you have to have a wider stance so you can now transfer the weight without tripping over. So that's one of the first things that you need to sort out, let's say, if you're starting out and you're not sure how to stand around the lathe. This is a lovely walnut bowl, roughly 10.5 inches diameter, that's 270 mil. Now it's well out of round, as you can see, so we need to chew it out first. And I'll be using 16 mil diameter ball gouge. Now for the roughing cut, what I like to do, so this is nice and flat or level tool. So what I like to do is drop the end of the handle to my waist height here, and I always keep it sort of here. And now most of the turners will hold the end of the gouge or end of the handle here and manipulate the tool like this, and nothing wrong with that. My personal preference is I always hold the tool near the ferrule like this, and the end of the handle again goes to my waist here, and it's locked here. I have it hold here, and also my left hand goes on top of the tool on the blade here. That keeps it in 3 places nice and firm. Now it's not a dead grip, it's not like somebody is trying to take the gouge away from you, so it's a nice comfortable feel and a nice wide stand. So we can chew this ball up. Let's bring the speed up, 1239 RPM. So position it here, again drop the handle so it is in my waist height here, hold it here. With my left hand I'll be squeezing into the wood, get this area nice and true. I can turn it over, find the bevel and go to the center. Now I will have to raise the tool, and always is rubbing the end of the handle up against my body for stability here. Now you saw me do this cut like this. Now I lean forward to move forward, but also what I like to do from time to time is just push with my fingers, but also I'm having the handle up against my body. I hold it here and I push with my fingers forward, or I can lean like this slightly. So it's a slight movement in body, but here, so now we have to chew up the diameter. So At first here I'll use left wing as sort of a scraper up to here, and as I shift my weight and swing my hips around to the right, at this point here I'll be doing the push cut or shear cut, riding the bevel. Again, you can see tool is here. I'm rotating my hips, and now I'm doing a push cut, and now I'm transferring weight from right leg here up to the left, going from right to left. Now slowly towards the end. Okay, so that's roughing cut. Yeah, that's looking quite good. There is no cracks. There is a small hole here and this bark inclusion, but everything seems nice and solid. So that's what you want. So as you saw, again, here the handle is not flat, so I'm not using the tool like this, but I'm dropping the end of the handle to my waist height, so we have a little bit different angle of approach. So hope you can see, although I'm using left wing, let's find the straight grain here, I'm still getting sort of a coil, and I'm cutting the wood, and you can see the surface, it is ridgy, but it's not tear out, so that's quite important. And if I raise the handle higher, so keeping it flat, on the same grain here, I'll be just scraping away. So by dropping the handle down, you're a little bit more efficient on how you remove the timber. And I forgot to mention that the flute was, as I was going from right to left, facing at around 10 o'clock. So in this position here, and I was just slowly going from this, as you saw here, and moving my hips to the right, like so, until I was at this point riding the bevel. Then from the right leg weight, I transferred to the left leg, going from right to left like this. And that's for the roughing cut. So let's do a nice shear cut going from bottom of the foot up to the rim in one continuous motion. So I know most of you are familiar with Stuart Batty's work. He's probably one of the best woodturners teachers out there, and he uses his modular system of handles to his advantage, so he can grab a longer handle, grab by the end of the handle, and swing the tool around depending on the shape and what he wants. Now I do something similar, but I grab near the ferrule here, so I'm not using so much leverage here, but instead I'm trying to get to a point where I can position my body closer to the handle, so that will be around here. But for this lower section, the handle will be, or the tool will be away from my body. So let's see if I can bring the speed up slowly. So that's 1436. Now I'm moving the handle away from my body because I'm making a reverse curve on the bottom. Let's take a little bigger bite. And now the handle goes up against my body, and now I'm moving the body and the tool at the same time. Now here I'm getting a little vibration, so I'll cut through that. So in this area the tool got really dull really fast, so there's something here, probably that bark inclusion, something in this bark that dulled the tool really fast. So let me just sharpen it real quick. So let's clean this up. So nice sharp tool. You can see again, it's really dull. Something in this bark here is taking the edge right off the tool, so nothing happens. So sharpen one more time. Okay, so that's finished. That's pretty good surface straight from the tool, and we can improve on that using a gouge, and let me show you real quick how to do that. Now there is one more finessing cut that you can do with the ball gouge, and that is shear scrape with it. So as you remember, for roughing cut, the handle was in my waist height here. Now for this shear scraping or shear cut, I'll drop the handle even further down, so it's around in my right pocket, let's say. I'll close the flute to 9 o'clock and just lightly go like so. You can go both directions. And you can swing the tool rest around, go all the way. You can see lovely shavings. The surface is really good. Again, dropping the handle way down and keeping it up against my leg. The right hand goes to ferrule here, and again moving my body around. And let's do the top edge, which probably will break off the sharpness of the wing here as soon as I touch the bark inclusion. Yeah, dull. Something in that bark is taking the edge of the tool, but hope you can see that's a really nice surface ready to be sanded. But now the shape here is actually quite good, but I need a foot so I can turn the inside. Now I'm cutting the foot usually with the spindle gouge. This is 1/2 inch, 12 mil diameter, and the way I like to do the cut for the tenon or the foot is start really low and raise the handle up, and that will pivot the edge into wood through an arc, and that, at least to me, has proven that it's really the most stable cut and it doesn't skate over. So again, I'm closing the flute around to 9 o'clock. Start low. As you can see, that's lower than my hip height or waist height, and I raise the handle up, and that takes the edge through the wood like so, and I can open it up, the gouge, to, let's say, 10 o'clock, and drag with my left hand out, and I have a nice tenon here, nice and clean tenon. It does need slightly more. Again, I'm raising the handle to pivot that each edge into the wood. So that's for that. Now let's say I want to finesse this curve using a scraper. So grab the refiner here. It has a nice fresh burr on from the grinder. So this is flat. The way I'm using the scraper, slightly higher up. Now I always, again, I'm grabbing near the ferrule here. I stand comfortably here so I can see the profile that I'm doing here, but also I have the room to move around. So for the small movement, you can see I'm drawing my hand towards my body, but if I'm going here, then I start to lean on my left leg like so, and then I reposition, do it again, and so on. So that's my take on this. So this is flat, I raise it a little bit higher, and again I'm scraping that the scraper is scraping on actually on the center height of the ball or slightly above that. Also, what happens quite often is, as I'm rotating the scraper towards me, it sort of jams into my forearm like this, and it keeps nice and straight and stable. And as I'm locked like this, although the scraper is not in my body, my hand is locked, the tool is locked in that little crevice, let's say, and I just move my body away if I need to. So that looks something like this. Now what we can do to slightly improve this surface, because it's slightly rougher on few spots, little tiny spots, is we can shear scrape. Now for the shear scraping, I keep the handle flat or level, or slightly it can drop down, doesn't really matter all that much. Also it's immobilized, so it's up against my body. I put my right hand near the ferrule and my left hand goes here, and I can squeeze to reduce any of the wonky movement or loose movement, because that will transfer to the edge or transfer to the surface. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm squeezing my left hand, but also moving my body, again transferring the weight around. And if I feel that I have to move, then move the rest slightly and position yourself. So again, you can see what you're doing in real time on the horizon. So the take is to immobilize as much as you can the hinges in your hand, but you can see, I'll brought you a bit closer so you can see the surface. So this is the surface you get straight from the scraper. So I haven't got here because this little naughty boy here takes the edge off, so I'll finish the ball later. But the important thing is that you see how I position the tools around my body and how I move my body around to get the shape that I want. So we are now at spindle work, and from this chunk I'll make a simple ornament or something, I don't know, but you should be able to see a lot of different cuts using a skew and all the different height adjustments and angles and so on, and also a spindle gouge I'll use, so you can see how we manipulate the body and the tool itself together to get the shape, best possible shape, straight with the tool. So the tool rest is set, so when I drop the handle down, so this is flat, I drop it slightly down, so it's not at the waist height here, but between flat and waist, let's say. I want to be at, let's say, 11 o'clock if you watch this as a clock face. So that's a good position, comfortable position for me. And I constantly change the tool rest height as this gets smaller and smaller or bigger. And this was a wet piece of pear, so we'll chew it up first, and we can use a peeling cut. Now scraping cut would be keeping the blade flat and do this. That's a scrape. You can see a lot of fine dust and really small shavings. But for the peeling cut, drop the handle way down. So I want to go above rotation. You can see here nothing happens. So if I start to lift the handle up, that will make the edge come lower and lower, and you will start to peel the diameter down. So go above rotation, slightly raise the handle, and again, handle bottom is, or the end of the handle is up against my body here. And I raise the handle up, and I'm getting peeling cut. And you need a little bit of downward pressure here from your left hand. You see, that does the job really nicely. So that's peeling cut, and you should be getting this kind of shavings. Well, you can see all of these as you're peeling the side grain. So that's again going above rotation and start raising the handle up, and you're getting this kind of peeled shavings. Now for the planing cut, again, you can see the position of the handle, and the end of the handle is, I like to keep it close to my body as I can. Now for some cuts it does wander away from my body, but I still have my hand here and on top of the skew. So I go above rotation, start to raise the handle, and I want to see the shaving coming from bottom half of the edge. Once I have that, I can move forward. And to get the best movement, let's say, or the smoothest movement, again, you're moving your body. So I have it locked here, here, and on my left hand, although this hand just gives a little bit of downward pressure, not much. And I'm moving my body to the right. I can do the same going to the left. Now I'm transferring the weight to the left leg. Now you can, if you want, to go even higher with the tool rest. So we're now cutting on top of the spindle. Hope you can see that. Works lovely. It all depends where is comfortable for you, but also if you're really high up, then sometimes it's really hard to, let's say, roll a big bead or something like that. So again, I'll be dropping the rest slightly down, and let's true up the end grain here. So the handle goes really low. Again, my right hand goes to the ferrule. Get your point, or this bevel here, edge of the bevel, aligned with the direction that you want to go, and I'll go above rotation like so and start to raise the handle. That will again put the edge in through an arc like so. And you can see how much movement there is, because you want to go through the center with the edge, so you have to raise the handle up. Like so. And let's say I want to make a half of the sphere, or maybe even full sphere here. So you can see again the position that I'm in. Again, this is comfortable for me. That doesn't mean that this is the best option for you. So riding the bevel, little burnish mark here. I was pushing a little bit too hard, so let's go lightly. So I hope you saw how much I was starting here, but I ended up here. How much there is a movement in a skew to have nice constant bevel contact, and just to show you a big spaghetti shavings. And on this side, so again you'll see how much I roll and raise the handle at the same time. Now I was taking a little bit too much here, but I can go with a long point as well to finesse it. So that's pretty good. So let's do something with the spindle gouge on this end. So this is 1/2 inch spindle gouge. Now if you want, you can drop the rest down a little bit, so you're cutting a little above center height. But in this case, this is pretty good. So I start by, again, you can see this will be flat or level. I have it slightly down between my waist height and level position. And I close the flute when I want to enter the wood. Once I'm in, I can open it up to get a better cut. So I hope you saw how much I have to move, again, the body. Let me show you that again. So getting into the wood, now I can open the gouge. And again, I'm riding the bevel. And moving my body out of the way. So that's pretty good. And again, I can do this from this side. Again, a lot of motion is involved. Now with the spindle gouge, I'll just quickly shape this. So again, you can see the body movement. Let's clean up this end. Okay, so this is quick little ornament thing, something, but just so you can see the tool finish. So you can see that looks really hardly needs any sanding. It will be sand out in just a few seconds. So I hope you like this kind of video, and hopefully it will help you out on your wood turning journey. Now, I want to say that each turner moves slightly different and uses slightly different angles on the tools, so inevitably that will create slightly different movement and angles of approach, let's say, and so on. So but hopefully you saw how much there is importance in body movement, and at least to me, that's how I turn. That works for me, it's comfortable for me. So I rather move my entire body left to right, let's say, instead of going like this with my hands. It's not as precise if you just go like this. So all of that has sort of a factor in getting the proper surface or proper tool control, let's say. So again, I hope this kind of video helps you out. It's not a definitive way. Again, somebody will turn slightly different and will get the same results, and that's all that it is important. So just find your style, find what suits you the best, and just keep on practicing it, and you should be okay. And again, hopefully, if nothing else, it was a fun thing to watch for you. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.